for me, Dylan's early 60s records, that incredible period between his first record and Highway 61 Revisited, Bringing It All Back Home, that it's not even the academic observation that it's an incredible torrent of work to come out of one really young person. Because that's almost like an academic assessment. To me, I just was so captivated by the power of those songs and his poetry and his voice and so many of the things that everyone's said about him. It's not some unique observation that it hooks you. And I think there was a romantic mythology component for me when I was the same age and moved to New York. And because whether you're a musician or an actor or anything, there's something about that period in his life that it becomes totemic, almost like the idea of coming and remaking yourself and turning yourself into an artist as a very young person is just a great fantasy. I lived in the Village when I moved to New York, and there's a certain kind of there's a mythical presence still in those blocks and in those places, and some of the places are still there. Cafe Wa is still there, and the Bitter End is still there, and the Bottom Line is still there, and there's a lot of it's still there. So you can still kind of walk through you can walk through and feel like you're kind of amidst ghosts of the past, and it's great. It's great to commune with. It's great to commune with artistic precedent and stuff. And if you think about it, that's what's so cool about the way the movie starts is it's not even a made-up story. It's not a fable. That's, this kid from Minnesota came and he was seeking out his own musical heroes and making that pilgrimage and that idea of pilgrimage and seeking connection and seeking inspiration is wonderful. It's kind of eternal, Jim and I were talking about this period, and Dylan's this catalyst, but he arrives into this, I think, an emergent state. There's this state, this generational thing that Pete Seeger was a part of incubating, but there's this weight of people and zeitgeist and politics and social movements and everything, and it's all right there. And it's like Dylan became this gravitational force on it, and suddenly it started to move in ways that no one really could have predicted. If there was something to me that was really persuasive that Jim said, it was he really absolutely fundamentally did not want to try to do a life story. He really wanted to look at a very narrow window of this emergent moment. Yeah. And Dylan as a catalyst, not a dissection of him, but as this idea of watching the way that this person's talent ended up being a catalyst on so many other things. Yeah. And maybe something that was derived, that just like he says in that interview, that the power of it was channeling through him, but it was derived from this big collective thing that was going on. And I do think in a way, over time, what happens even to someone like Dylan and that period is it becomes historical. People talk about it in this clinical sense, but they've actually kind of lost touch with the actuality of it, with like the vital, visceral, adrenaline feeling. And what I like about what Jim did here is I think he kind of wanted to give you access to an immersive experience in what that felt like, in all of its innocence and simplicity, and take the mythology off. And like I felt like when I was watching it, like you're getting dropped through a moment not really a story, not a narrative with a beginning and a middle and an end or a life story, but kind of, you know, this feeling that you can reconnect with the actual visceral reality of that moment, and I think that's kind of wonderful.